Well, welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining today from the Fitchburg Fire Department, my friend Adam Dorn. I call him just Dorn because that's what everybody else calls him. Or they call you something else, and we can't use that here. But today we're going to call you the carbon monoxide expert as we talk about carbon monoxide safety. Super important topic. And there's so many different places to go with this. And we've had so many different discussions, demonstrations, and whatnot. But first and foremost, where is CO found? That, I think, is the starting spot here of our discussion today.
Yeah. So CO can be found anytime you burn fuel, whether it's in cars, trucks, small engines. It can be found in stoves, lanterns, grills, fireplaces, gas ranges, furnaces. It can build up inside. It can build up indoors, I should say, and it can poison people and animals who breathe it. The reason for that is because carbon monoxide, or CO, is an odorless, colorless gas, and it can kill you.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Are we done?
We're done. Yeah, no, we are not done
Okay,
here.
good. There's a lot more.
So, symptoms, I think this is where it kind of gets complicated. But one thing that I noticed the last time I was out at the department taking some photos, you guys got these really cool meters that I recognize from the classic days of running on an ambulance that alert you. Because sometimes, based on these common things, headache, dizziness, weakness, upset stomach, vomiting, that could be a whole slew of things you might not even know because your alarm might not even be going off because maybe you don't have an alarm. What are those symptoms? And how do you guys stay safe when you get to these calls, whether you know it or not?
Yeah. So let's start with some of the symptoms. Like you mentioned, it's a headache, dizziness, weakness, upset stomach, vomiting, sometimes chest pain and confusion. Confusion is more along the more severe end. You've been exposed a lot longer. A lot of these symptoms are described as flu-like. So if you breathe in a lot of carbon monoxide, it can take a while to make you pass out, or it can eventually kill you. That's why it's so important to have carbon monoxide detectors in your homes, because people who are sleeping or those that have taken in a lot of alcohol over a period of time, they can actually be killed because of the carbon monoxide in the environment. So it's very important to have carbon monoxide detectors because of that.
So when you guys show up to a scene and it's carbon monoxide alarms going off and people are out of the house or whatever the case may be, what are you guys looking for first and foremost, and how do you stay protected?
So we do a couple things. One, we rely a lot on the information that's called in by the caller. Right, so when they call 911, they're asked, hey, is anybody sick? Do they have headache? Right? They go through the list that we just went through. They go through that list and they ask a few more questions. That's our first step to finding out or trying to determine whether or not there's an issue. We do that. When we get to the home, we have a 4-gas monitor that we can use. It monitors 4 different parts of the atmosphere, and we go into the building with that to determine whether or not there's carbon monoxide. Dependent upon how soon that goes off or how fast it goes off or what we're being told, we also have our breathing apparatus, our SCBA, that we will put on with our mask, and we will go in the house with all of that on to make sure that we stay safe while we're in there looking for the cause of the carbon monoxide.
Now, what if you go to a scene where you're called the flu-like symptoms and you get there and you didn't know it was, but something saved you? What are those alarms that you guys carry?
Yeah, it's our 4-gas monitor, at least in the fire department. EMS has a little bit different monitor, but our 4-gas monitor measures the oxygen level. It measures lower and upper explosive limits. It'll measure carbon monoxide and hydrogen sulfide. It measures those things, and then we turn those on before we ever get there because they have to go through a warm-up process. We clip them onto our gear, and as we walk in, if those never go off or doesn't alarm, it still can be a concern, but it's not like an immediately dangerous to life and health situation. If they do go off, then we take more evasive action, so to say, to correct the issue or to get the right people coming to take care of a situation.
As far as positioning carbon monoxide detectors, because I think that's become, I'm going to make it an issue, but I got a lot of fire detect or smoke detectors that are combination ones, and
Yep.
those are always placed high. But you see the plug-in, carbon, So does it matter?
It doesn't really matter. Um, Carbon monoxide and air have roughly the same weight, so they mix well together. So if you put a carbon monoxide detector lower because it plugs in, that will work just as good as a combination carbon monoxide smoke detector that might be up on your ceiling.
Fantastic. And what about the ones that meter it actually? I always like laugh because I'm like, at the end of the day, it, should it be zero, or if you see like five on it, it shouldn't it be beeping? Like, is there a threshold?
There is a threshold. OSHA has a huge list of everything out there, that what's acceptable, what's not over an 8-hour or 10-hour work period. Basically, anything that's roughly 5 or less, right? That's pretty much common. I mean, because you go outside, you're going to have about 5 parts per million. If you're standing next to a vehicle, it's just that if you're there for an extended period of time, that's when it starts to become an issue. So I'd say anything under 10 is pretty common. It's okay. Should it read 0? Probably. But if it gets above that 10 mark, right, then it'll start to alarm very shortly after that. And like you said, the ones that have the meters can be interesting to read, right? Because some people take a lot of effort or take that into consideration, like, oh, it's only this, or oh, it's all of that. Really don't matter. If the alarm's going off, get out. Call us. Let us come and help and figure this out.
All right, couple of quick extra pieces here. So it's getting colder. We're starting our vehicles. Why is it important? And we're not recommending this. We have the recommended not running your vehicle to heat up, but we know what happens. But not leaving it in the garage because.
Carbon monoxide builds up in your garage and it can find its way into your house.
But I opened the door, Dorn.
Doesn't matter, Jeremy, because with the wind direction, the wind could be blowing it right back into your house every time you open and close the door. Or maybe your door is closed and the seal around your door has disintegrated to the point where there's a nice little draft that comes in. CO will get through there. If you need to warm up your vehicle, take your vehicle outside, let it warm up outside, close the garage door as it's warming up. But even that, it's probably not the best thing to do, because now you have an unattended vehicle running in your driveway, and we don't want people's vehicles to be taken.
Well, I still think you can never really guarantee that those fumes aren't getting it. Even if you close your garage, I mean, it's not like they're sealed tight completely.
Right.
I mean, you got insulated garages, but
Yep.
whatever. Same with generators. So again, thinking of the hunting crowd and stuff, and there's been some very unfortunate accidents with those. Why you can't be in the same room as a generator, and B, how far away do we need to put them?
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be in the same room as a generator, because they do produce carbon monoxide and other gases, right? So I would suggest at least 20 feet away from whatever building you're going to be in. Number one. Number two, get a carbon monoxide and explosive gas detector and put that in your, let's say, call it your ice shanty, right? Or your hunting cabin. Put them in there. Put smoke detectors in there. It don't matter if you're there for a couple hours or a couple days. The $15, $20 that you're going to spend on each of those devices is well worth it for your family to make sure you come home safely.
Yeah, I can't imagine just sitting in a even if it was a small cabin or a hunting cabin, and the wind's blowing the right way and you don't know it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, could lead to some bad things.
Yes,
all right, Dorn. Well, I appreciate the information. If people want to learn more about fire safety in general, where can they find the facts?
Go to our website, Fitchburg Fire, or fitchburgwi.gov/fire.
Go to Fire Fitchburg. I like it.
Yeah.
You didn't even say that, but I
We'll
just
maybe have to talk
automatically
to IT about that.
Gosh. Well, that's denied.
Yep.
I'm denying it for you right
Okay.
now. All right, Adam Dorn, thank you so much. We'll catch up with you real soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jeremy.
You betcha. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.